Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Southern Gal True Crime. It is good to have everybody here tonight, or this morning, or afternoon, wherever it may, whatever time it may be in your, whatever part of the world you're in, or if you're watching replay. Welcome to Southern Gal True Crime. If this is your first time here, welcome. We are so glad to have you here. I cover or share missing persons, cold cases, some current true crime in the news, and more. Tonight is Friday, so it is our case of the week. So I'll be bringing you that. It is a cold case from Arkansas from 1997. A very sad case, a very tough case. And it's another one of those I've been kind of putting off doing. There's not a whole lot of information, but I gathered all the information I could find about it because it is almost 20, or is 27, almost 28 years now. And it has still not been solved. And in my opinion, and in the family's opinion, and some of law enforcement's opinion, it is very solvable. They just have to need that one little piece of information or evidence to be able to arrest or at least question a person of interest in this case. But we'll talk about that at the end. I'm going to do this kind of different from the way I usually do my True Crime late night lives or True Crime After Dark lives. I will go in a minute, and I have some comments. I go in and see who all is here. But I'm going to present I have a slideshow as usual presentation. I'm going to present to you all the information, and after I get done doing that, I will get to all your during the presentation. If you have any comments, questions, anything, pop them in the chat, or if you're watching on replay, pop them in the comment box, and I will answer them after the presentation. And just when I'm doing a case or a missing person Monday, it just kind of makes it a little bit smoother. Just giving you the case, and then I'll go answer any questions. But before we get to that, with that long-winded explanation out of the way, anybody who's watched my videos or live streams, I can babble a little bit. If you are new here and you think this is your cup of tea, please consider subscribing, like, share, comment. All those things help. Small channels like mine, YouTube will push this information out more. That is the most important thing, is to get this information about cases like this, the missing persons that I share on Monday. It helps get all this information out to, once again, I don't think my camera's, anyway, helps get this information out to as many people as possible. And I will save the rest of my spiel at the end, till the end. So let's see who we've got in here. Dandy Jane is here. Glad to see you here again, Dandy Jane, one of our new friends. Dandy Linus is here. So we have our two dandies are here. Michigan Wifey is here. Good to see you, my dear, one of my OGs. And I mentioned Dandy Linus, one of my wonderful mods, my go-to mod. She is here. So we'll see if some more people pop in. For right now, once again, for right now, I probably shouldn't say anything. My second self is working on my computer, on my laptop. So hopefully my evil self will behave. So before we get started, I will, on the case, I will always feature a missing person, current missing person, or persons at the beginning of all my videos or live streams. I do have some, oh, let me go take the banner down so we can see. There we go. I do have some good news. I had featured Kirsten Farmer in, I think this week or the end of last week. She has been found safe. She went missing from Jacksonville. But as of the 6th, she has been reported, she has been located. So that is very good news. I had featured Jaron Eccles. He was also missing from Jacksonville. He has been located. So I have lots of good news. I think I have more good news tonight on missing persons than missing persons to share. But that is always a good. That is what we want. I had featured Hayden Johnson. He had gone missing from, I think it's Jonesboro. Whenever I go in and edit them, I always put it over. I can't read. I think it's from Jonesboro. He has been found safe. He went missing at the end of February. Kaylee Kinder has been found safe. I know somebody in the last live stream that I did, I featured her as one of my missing persons, and somebody in chat had let me know that Kaylee had been found safe, and they did post it on the Morgan Nick Foundation that she has been found. She had been located, found safe. Good news. I love being able to bring you guys good news about, especially our kids. Sorry. Especially about our kids and teens being found safe. I don't know if there we go. Oh, yeah, make sure I was just making sure I didn't skip one. There's a lag between when I do it on my computer until it shows up on my phone. The first missing person, this is an older case from 1993. This is John Kemp Clark. He went missing on September 6th of 1993 from Fayetteville, Arkansas. And the Arkansas Justice Project had put it up, and I had featured him, I think, a while ago on one of my Missing Person Monday videos, but I just saw this popped up. So I just wanted to throw it in there. Like I said, it's been missing since September of 1993. He was last seen in Fayetteville. So if you have any information about John, please contact the Fayetteville Police Department at 479-587-3555. Sorry, my eyes are not working so well tonight. We have, once again, there we go. There's not a whole lot of information on this one. Once again, the Arkansas Justice Project had shared it from, I believe, it's Heather Sutterfield, and maybe a mother, an aunt, a family member. This is Ember Sutterfield. She is just 17. And she was last seen this past Thursday morning around 6:30 a.m. near Blaney Hill Road in Conway at her home. Before everyone left for work. It says that she has responded through Facebook Messenger to family members or friends, but all that she says in these Facebook messenger messages, is that she's okay and safe, but she will not tell her parents or anybody where she is. So hopefully it is her sending these messages, and hopefully it's not somebody else that has control of her phone sending these messages. But at any rate, obviously her family is very worried about her. So if you are in the Arkansas area, in the Conway area, it did not give a telephone number, but you can call the Conway Police Department or call 911. Or the Heather Sutterfield Henderson said you can even contact her via Facebook Messenger if you've seen her. So please, like I said, if you're in the Arkansas area, Conway area, anywhere in Arkansas, if you see her, call 911. And I think that is all right. That is all our missing persons. So let me check comments right quick, see if anybody's popped in. Thank you, Dandy. Dandy's putting some of my links in, my PayPal me link. I'll go through those at the end, but Dandy can keep popping them in. Yep, Dandy says, I love to hear that children are located safe. Absolutely. I was so excited when I was going through last night and this morning, and especially this morning, checking these missing persons, children, teenagers, um, and saw that they had found what 4 of them that I had featured. That 4 of them have been found safe. So yes, it's always very good news. Yes, Dandy, for talking about the Ember Sutterfield, or Dandy Jane. I'm sorry, I got to keep my Dandy straight. Dandy J and Dandy L. We've got, yeah, possible runaway. So hopefully they can find her. Hello, Honeybee. Honeybee has popped in. Good to have you here, my dear. Says can't stay. We'll see you later. That's fine. Thanks for popping in. Watching replay is just as good. Thank you for popping in. Hit that like before you leave, everybody. While you're here, hit that like button. All right. Before I babble too much, we will get into. I got caught up. Like I said, if anybody else pops in or while I'm doing the presentation, and if you hear something, my cat is in here. We bought him a new cat toy the other day that has a little rattle thing in it. So you can probably hear him playing with it. Just ignore him. Keeps him from destroying the room, him having something to play with. Like I said, after the presentation, or during the presentation, pop any questions, comments you may have in. When I get done with the presentation, I will go answer all your, highlight your comments, questions, and say hi to anybody who popped in during the presentation. So, hot. So we're going to be talking about the homicide of Kristy Leigh Yates. This is, like I said, an Arkansas case. It is from Hot Springs, Arkansas, from 1997. Like I said, it is 27 years old, almost 28 years old. It'll be 28 years old in, shame on me, I forgot the date. It'll tell it. I believe it was in April. So, and like I said at the beginning, there's not a whole lot of information. They did find her, find Kristy deceased, but there is a person of interest in this case. He's never been named publicly, but I think, or there are persons of interest. They've never been named publicly, never been formally named as a person of interest, suspect, or anybody charged or questioned. Well, I'm sure they've. I say I'm sure. I don't know. I'm assuming people have been questioned, but just from because Kristy's dad is still alive and her younger sister, so of course they're still fighting to find out what happened to her, to bring justice. This is another one of those cases on this channel. For anybody new here or now or watching replay, the cases I share are and the missing persons I share are the lesser known cases, the ones that don't get national attention. Unfortunately, they don't get the local attention that they get, and this is one of those cases. So we need to get justice for Kristy and her family, and share this and get this out there so as many people as possible can see it. All right, we will get into it. So there is a reward, and I believe it is up to $25,000 now. It says the FBI is offering a reward of up to, sorry, my cat decided to leave, is offering a reward of up to $25,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the individual or individuals responsible for the death of Kristy Leigh Yates. So just a little summary, and then I will get into the details. Like I said, there's not a whole lot, but so on April 26th of this year, it will be 28 years old, unsolved. Of 1997, 15-year-old Kristy was brutally, her life was taken. Her body was discovered in northern Garland County, Arkansas. Kristy was last seen at the Hot Springs Mall on April 25th, 1997. And investigators believe that the individual or individuals responsible for Kristy's death may still reside in Arkansas. So if you have any information concerning this case, please contact the Little Rock office of the FBI at 501-221-9100, or your local FBI office, or a 911. You can always call 911. If you know anything, they can get you in touch with the proper authorities. So like I said, Kristy was last seen alive at the Hot Springs Mall on April 25th, 1997. FBI investigators do believe that the offender or offenders responsible for her death may very well still reside in Arkansas and still be alive, even 27 years later. Because Kristy was she had just turned 15, maybe a week before she disappeared, and was ultimately, unfortunately, found deceased. And when we get into the case, the prominent theory is that it was somebody that she knew, maybe a classmate who had been around her age. So if that's the case, then the offender would be in their 40s. So that's why they say it is very possible that whoever is responsible for this crime, whether it be one or more persons, could very well still be alive and very well still be in the Arkansas area. So a little bit of background about Kristy. She kind of she was, I want to say she was a troubled child. She was a little on the wild side. She skipped school a lot. She snuck out of her house a lot. She had been and we'll get into it. She had been kicked out. She had been going to a school, one of the Hot Springs, Arkansas schools. She had gotten kicked out of school for skipping school for absenteeism, and she had been sent to forgot what they call it. I know it's in the. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's in the next slides, but she had been sent to a counseling center, and then when she got out of the counseling center, they had put her in a different school in hopes of hopefully she would start doing better in school. But on the morning of April 24th, which was Thursday, a school day, which was the last day that she was seen alive, or the 25th was, she headed out to school with her younger sister, Deanna. Her father, Gordon, apparently he had left for work, and he had called to make sure that both Kristy and Deanna were getting ready to leave to go to school. And I couldn't find any information that said whether or not they answered the phone. Either one of them answered the phone when he called, or if they had already left for school. So it says that Deanna had left first to go to school. Deanna is the younger sister. She was walking in the opposite direction of Kristy. It says who, for now, was not allowed back at the Hot Springs Middle School because of her absenteeism. So Deanna went one way to her school. Kristy was walking the opposite way to, I believe it was called Summit School. And Gordon, it says Gordon, and this is their dad right here, Gordon Yates. It says that he was concerned about Summit, which was in what they call an alternative school down here in Arkansas. It may be called something else in other states. Alternative school down here is a school for troubled kids. Kind of send them there. They have a little bit more strict curriculum, and they keep an eye on them a little bit more. But their dad said, quote, "It was more for troubled kids. Skipping school to have had to have consequences." That he agreed with that. But Kristy hadn't committed a crime. She wasn't having. She didn't have any substance abuse issues. She wasn't angry or violent. Um, it says that she was the girl who liked to make friends, maybe too much so. This case, if you guys watched the last case of the week, last week was the Brandy Hutchins case. This case reminds me a whole lot of the Brandy Hutchins case, in that we have two girls who were troubled, and I'll get into a little bit more of the family history. Had kind of the parents were good, but just things that happened, divorces and remarriages and things that happened. And we had two girls, as in, Kristy that we're talking about tonight, and Brandy that we talked about last week, who just they wanted friendship, they wanted to be accepted into a group of friends, they wanted to be popular with the boys. So, like I said, when I was doing this case, and I've been researching it a while, these two cases you can almost interchange them. They're so much alike. But anyway, so Deanna, the younger sister, also said that Kristy was a follower, and that might have been a fatal flaw, and may have led to, unfortunately, led to her death. So that, once again, that harkens back to Brandy Hutchins. She was a follower. She wanted friends, a group of friends. She wanted a boyfriend. She just wanted to be loved and accepted. And when you have that kind of mentality, you'll do just about anything. You'll fall for anything, and it will often lead you into very dangerous situations. So Gordon, the father, had full custody of both Kristy and Deanna. The summer before, um, Gordon's second wife, which was Kristy and Deanna's stepmother, had drowned. So they had that tragedy, on top of everything else that was going on or would go on. Gordon was working full time. He had also had, aside from Kristy and Deanna, he and his second wife also had two younger children who were not even in preschool yet at the time that Kristy disappeared. So he was busy. He did the best he could, but with having four children to take care of, two of them preschool age, and two teenagers. It's just hard for his wife passed away, second wife passed away. It's just a whole lot to deal with. Um, but he did love all his children, loved all his, and I don't know the two younger children. I don't know if they were a male or female, but at any rate, it doesn't matter. He loved all his children, was doing the best he could to take care of them, and it says he was going to do when Kristy disappeared. He was going to. He had unrelenting focus to do whatever it took to get the best side of his Kristy back. So I took that to mean to get the best side of her back. Apparently, she was, acting out, skipping school, going out of the house. He was trying to do anything and everything that he could to try to rein her in a little bit. So, like I said earlier, for 3 months in that fall before she disappeared, Kristy had been sent by the court system to a residential counseling center in northern Arkansas. Um, so after those 3 months, she came home. It seemed like they may have been getting better, and she was going in a positive direction. But once she came back and started this new school, the Summit Alternative School, it said her old patterns returned. She started skipping school again, sneaking out of the house, things of that nature. So apparently unfortunately, the counseling center didn't work, and sorry, I'm trying to not. I should have turned my comments off. I still want to get to the comments, but we'll get through this. But anyway, she'd returned to her old patterns, and unfortunately, let me put my slides to advance. Oh, there we go. So after Kristy went to the counseling center for 3 months, came back, she started this summit. Well, now my slides are my computer's lagging. Sorry, guys. I have to control it with my phone. So apparently, after Kristy went to this counseling center for 3 months, she came back. She started this Summit alternative school. Apparently, Summit did not notify Kristy's dad that Kristy had cut class the day that the last day that she was seen alive. But he knew that when he got home from work, she wasn't there. There was something wrong. He started making phone calls. I'm assuming to any of her friends, neighbors, anybody he knew that she hung out with. He also called her caseworker. Um, she said told him just to go knock on the doors of anyone Kristy might think that she could hide out with. Which I mean, I know caseworkers are very, very, very overworked and underappreciated, but so he went knocking on doors, called everybody he knew, all her friends. Nobody had seen Kristy or heard from her. And another thing that kind of bothers me about something that this caseworker said is that he told her that Kristy would turn up soon because this was a frequent pattern of her running away or disappearing. Now, like I said, I have all the respect in the world for caseworkers, but and I can understand. It's a double-edged sword. I can understand if this was a frequent pattern of her running off and not telling anybody where she's going. Um, it's a fine line that you have to walk. But at any rate, that night came. Kristy did not come home, unfortunately. Once again, I should have put my hair back. This is Deanna on the slide here. This is Kristy's younger sister. And she said, and this information comes from, and I think I've already linked all the sources I've used. Most of this information I'm reading from now came from aymagazine.com. Like I said, I searched and searched, and there's not a lot of articles or information out there. But this AY magazine had the most information in one place. So when you see anything in quotes, it's coming directly from the article. So Deanna says, when she, meaning Kristy, would run away, she used to call my grandmother from Wendy's on Grand Avenue just to let her know that she was safe. Kristy's estranged mother, and I think it didn't say a lot about Kristy, and it would have been Deanna's their biological mother. Couldn't find a lot of information about her, just so that it was estranged. Apparently, she didn't have a lot to do with the kids, the girls. So apparently, Kristy, on the night that she disappeared, or sometime that day, she had called Dana Conyers, who was their mother, their biological mother. And Dana Conyers would later tell the media Kristy had called her, asking her if she could come and stay over with her mother. Her mother told her no, she couldn't. There could have been a reason for that. Once again, I'm not judging or family blaming. There could have been, like I said, a good reason. Maybe Kristy's behavior is the reason that her mother wouldn't allow her to come over and stay. I don't know. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So her mother told her no, she couldn't stay. And this says, if she even called Dana, so apparently they were questioning, or somebody questioned whether or not Kristy even called Dana, or if Dana was just saying this. That was the only call that was publicly disclosed that Kristy had made. So either she did not call anybody else, or she did call somebody, and it was never released publicly. It says by Friday night, so she went missing on a Thursday. So by Friday night, there was still no word from Kristy, not even a call to her grandmother. So apparently, like I said, like Deanna said, all the other times Kristy had ran off, gone missing, she would always call her grandmother at the very least. And when she didn't even call her grandmother, that's when they knew something was really, really wrong. So Saturday, it was raining very hard that day. Gordon, Kristy's dad, was inside watching TV, watching the news. The Garland County Sheriff's Department had found, was reporting that they had found a woman's body in the 1300 block of Sleepy Valley Road. So this, of course, caught Gordon's attention. He picked up the phone, called the police department. And the reason he did this was because it says Kristy was the kid. Um, she had always been mistaken as being older than she was. Keep in mind, she was 15 years old, and I have several pictures of her that I used during the slides. She did look older. She was a larger girl. So immediately when that she was missing, they said a woman had been found. You get that instinct, you get that parental instinct, that gut feeling. So unfortunately, the police came over, or either they came over or he went to the police station, because he said that the quote woman in the pictures that the sheriffs, I guess they came over, that they brought to Gordon was indeed Kristy. So now they know that Kristy's deceased by foul play, by homicide, and all their worst fears, unfortunately, had come to pass. So she had found that her body was found. It was less. She had just turned 15, less than a month before she disappeared, and was found deceased. She was found on April 26th around noon near an abandoned quarry. It says on the 1300 block of Sleepy Valley Road. And I do have, I think, in the next slide, a Google map picture. It's out in the middle of nowhere, basically. Authorities have never released details on the exact COD. They just always described it, and I should have put up trigger warning. They always describe it as brutal and extremely violent. So we don't know if it was GSW, blunt force trauma, edged object. Like I said, they've never released it, but just in my opinion, my own opinion, if it says it was brutal and extremely violent, I would assume it would be either an edged weapon or blunt force trauma. Like I said, that's just my opinion. Feel free to let me know in the chat or in the replay what you guys think. But regardless, it was horrible, regardless of how it was done. So you see there on the left, this is just a general area of Sleepy Valley Road. I tried to zoom in and find because they found her body at a rock quarry. And when I zoomed in, when I was doing the Google Maps, it brought up several different rock quarries. So I don't know exactly which one she was found at. This is just a general area. As you can see, even when I zoomed in, there is very, very little. And where the red pin is 1300 Sleepy Valley Road. It's just a very remote, and this will be important, a very, very remote area. you wouldn't just happen onto it. You would almost have to know the area and know how to get there, know where it's at, if that tells you anything about suspects or persons of interest. So according to this article, it says those responsible left a calling card of sorts. The location where Kristy was found spoke for itself. Her dad says it is not too far off the road, maybe 200 feet. You can drive down Sleepy Valley and you can just drive right in there. So that's probably where people have partied or parked before. And it says that, and the fact that the assault on Kristy was physical and she was not SA'd tends to indicate that this might not have been a random SA predator passing through, but someone she knew that had been to this out of the way place location before. So that is just one of the reasons, in my opinion, that, and it's a very, very good reason that this was somebody, possibly somebody that she knew, might have been close to her age, and that is why they say that the offenders or offenders, because some law enforcement think it was more than one person, are still out in the Arkansas area somewhere, possibly if they have not already moved out of state somewhere else. So they do think the other little bit of information they did release is they believe that where she was left at the quarry was not where she was assaulted and killed at. They said that this was where she had been placed there afterwards. Her sister Deanna said that she had on the same jewelry, same jeans, same shoes, everything that she had been dressed in on Thursday morning, the last morning that she had been seen. She was not hidden or covered up. Somebody had just placed her behind a small building at the quarry. She had been found. All it said was that she had been found by a stranger. So I'm assuming, like I said, once again, I'm assuming because limited information in this case, that it may have been somebody that worked at this rock quarry. I don't know. But like I said, it could be if it was a party place or a place where teenagers or people met up. It could have been somebody that like that happened to come across her body. It says once again that her assault was brutal and extremely violent, and a fact that is still emphasized by the media and law enforcement. So the reason that they haven't given out a lot of information is to obviously protect the integrity of the investigation. Sorry, I can't talk tonight. For the future prosecution of any offender or offenders, that they might get us some information or evidence, enough evidence to question, prosecute. Law enforcement needs to keep the details within its ranks, but make no mistake, it is still an active case. They say it's still active. It's not a cold case, even though it's almost 28 years old. They're still working on it. Law enforcement has met with Gordon and Deanna, which is the Kristy's father and younger sister. They have interviewed other people, analyzed all the information that they do have. Gordon did provide law enforcement with the list of people that he had concerns about. So I'm assuming that hopefully there is somebody on that list that possibly they have questions about, that could possibly have had something to do with this, or more than one person. Because in my opinion, just from this little bit of information, in my opinion, it could have been classmates, possibly of Kristy. That's just my opinion. You guys in chat or in replay, be sure to let me know. So that is why they have not released a whole lot of information. Which, like I said, that's not unusual for law enforcement to keep a lot of information back. Like I said, just in case in the future they do find an offender or at least somebody to question or interrogate. And that's why most probably, I would say 99.9, that's the reason why they're not saying how exactly what her COD is, because that's something only the offender or offenders would know. So this list of names that Kristy's father gave to law enforcement, they handed it off. The sheriff's department handed it off to the FBI. So it is. They say it is up to the FBI's discretion whether to put their agents and substantial resources behind this case. So let's hope that they're putting all the resources and everything they can do to work on this case. But it looks hopeful that they are, because Gordon said this case was a go for the FBI for several reasons. It involves the homicide of a child. It was extreme violence, and and they say it is a case that can be solved. So that's why I say that it's, in my opinion, it's solvable. In law enforcement's opinion, they think that it's solvable. So I'm hoping that means they have a suspect or suspects in mind, and they just need that little piece of information, a little bit of evidence to be able to make an arrest. The Connor Hagan of the FBI's Little Rock office said, quote, "We're still working on it jointly, but the FBI is pushing out the reward and bringing some seriously experienced investigators to work on this case." So that is always good to hear. Some additional information, like I was saying earlier, it says from the article, it said the fact that this case is active means an extremely violent offender or offenders is quite possibly still among us. An offender, perhaps in our neighborhoods, workplaces, schools, churches, anywhere around children. Like I said, if my theory and a theory of others, things that I've read, is true, and this could possibly be a classmate of Kristy's or somebody even in their 20s, because Kristy was only 15. And so was somebody, if they were in their 20s at the time, would be in their late 40s to early 50s. That's still young enough to be out there offending, unfortunately. It goes on to say, and you might not realize that you do know something, have seen or heard something that could help put a stop to this danger. So it's always, I think Dandy's always saying it, if you see something, say something. If you're in the Arkansas area, if you're familiar with this case, if you see something, say something. If you know something, if something's jogged your memory. If you're not in the Arkansas area, please share this video to get this information out to as many people as possible, to keep Kristy's name out there, and so she is never forgotten. You see up there in the top right, my hashtag never forget. That's the motto of my channel. So the questions are, who was Kristy hanging out with? Who were her group of friends? Was it a good crowd, a bad crowd, any crowd? Who was driving her around? Apparently, she was only 15, so she might have been old enough for a learner's permit. I think in 1997, you could get a learner's permit here in Arkansas at 15. What was the talk in the school halls? That's where you're going to find a lot of good information. Kids talk, teenagers talk. They can't keep their mouth shut. And in these kind of cases, that will be a good thing. Were there other kids who cut class that day as well? Another excellent point. And I'm sure the police hopefully have looked at this. Who was absent from school? Did they check and say why they were absent? If they had a legitimate reason, did the parents know they were absent? Was someone seen with bruises or scratches in that time frame? That could possibly be an indication if it was Kristy's offender. They would have if she fought back, they would have scratches, bruises, possibly. And most importantly, did anyone see or hear from Kristy on Thursday or Friday? Because, like I said, the last day that she was seen alive was on Thursday. That's when she was seen, I'm assuming, she was seen by her sister that morning. Supposedly, she was on her way to school. She did not go to school that morning. She ended up at the Hot Springs Mall. That is where it says that she was last seen. It was at the Hot Springs Mall, and I can't remember if it's gave a time frame of what time it was that afternoon, that evening, what the time frame was of when they saw her at the mall. So what happened to her, and I don't think it ever in this information said it gave an exact time of death or day of death, but she disappeared. Last time she was seen alive was on a Thursday. She was found on the Saturday. So anytime between that Thursday and when they found her on that Saturday, when was she alive for, was just, it's frustrating not to have the information. Now, I don't, and I'm sure that's some of the information that they're holding back. I don't know why they would hold back the time frame of when they think, if they think that she was possibly killed on the Thursday when she disappeared, or if it was closer to Friday or that Saturday. We just don't know that information. But like I said, I'm sure law enforcement, as always, I always say law enforcement knows a lot more than we do. So who could possibly know something? Like I mentioned before, her peers, her schoolmates, students who knew Kristy from Summit, which was the alternative school, Hot Springs Middle School, where she had been going to before she got kicked out of the Hot Springs Middle School for absenteeism. And apparently, she had gone to a Cutter Morning Star School, which is another school close to the Hot Springs School. So, like I said earlier, her schoolmates would be around 40 in their 40s. So, I would definitely would remember. Parents or grandparents of her peers, schoolmates might even have clues, as well as her teachers, counselors. They could all have information or have memories. Something could jog their memory of what they may have seen or what they remember about those days from Thursday or Friday to that Saturday. It says her mother and stepfather, Harold, her mother and stepfather, Harold, and her, trying to think of her mother's name, I can't remember. Anyway, her mother and stepfather are deceased, are now deceased, but perhaps someone who knew them remembers something. Now, like I said, her biological father and her younger sister are still alive. I don't know. I'm assuming the two younger would be either half siblings or step siblings from their father's second marriage, possibly still alive. It did not mention them. So Jackie Durrell is a Hot Springs private investigator. He has done a lot of investigating on this case. According to this article, it says, quote, based on information received, I do believe the suspects are still living in Arkansas. I also believe that Kristy either knew the suspect or was acquainted with the suspect in some form. He says this is his opinion, this was not a random act. Gordon, Kristy's father, adds, quote, I think that she was set up, that she went somewhere with their intentions to do whatever they were going to do, and that she wasn't expecting it. This is the part that reminds me so much of the Brandy Hutchins case last week. Because if any of you have not watched that video, it was my case of the week last week. You can go on my playlist under unsolved cold cases, and the Brandy Hutchins case. They think, and I think too, that she was lured to her death. She had supposedly they found this sticky note that said, "Meet me at the old house." She apparently told her father that her friends were planning a birthday party for her, instead of saying, "Hey, I got this note from somebody, a stranger or somebody that she probably knew, and take me out to this old house that was used for parties." This just reminds me so much of the Brandy Hutchins case. It's so sad. Both cases are so sad. So this is from 2022. That's just about the FBI's offering a $20,000 reward for information in the unsolved homicide of Kristy. I think it's basically the same thing that it said in the beginning. $25,000 reward. If you have any information, once again, concerning Kristy's case, please contact the Little Rock office of the FBI at 501-221-9100, your local FBI office, or 911. And once again, this is the seeking information poster from the FBI. So because of the fact that the offender, or possible more than one offender, could still be out there somewhere, is this article I read from, and a couple of other articles that the FBI had made statements, says if you do know something and if you're afraid to say anything, you are truly safest when law enforcement is provided with what they need to put these offender or offenders away. And they said the safest and most secure way is you can give it anonymously. And once again, you can give it to the FBI Little Rock field office at 501-221-9100. So apparently, even almost 28 years on, there are still people out there who are afraid to say anything for fear of, rightfully so, because, like I said, they said Kristy's homicide was very, very violent, very brutal. And there could still very well be, unfortunately, a predator or a very dangerous person out on the street in Arkansas, or it could be anywhere, unfortunately, in the United States. So this is, like you see, this is a Kristy Leigh Yates, born in 1982. Unfortunately, her life was taken in 1997. So please, like I said, please share, and I'm fixing to get to everybody's comments. Please share, give this video a thumbs up, share it everywhere you can. If you have any information about the case, you can call the numbers that I gave, 911, FBI field office in Little Rock, anywhere you're at. All right, let's see what we got going. Get a drink right quick. So I said Dandy Jane is here. Dandy Linus is here. There's some welcome. My Michigan wifey is here. She may still be here. Good to have you here. You said Dandy Jane. Good to have you here. I saw Dandy Linus down here somewhere. Miss Dandy Linus, my wonderful mod, is here. I'm lagging here a little bit. Yeah, Dandy Jane says, yes, it's the Dandy girls. Yeah, you're all my Dandy girls. Yep, Dandy's put up some of my donation links, and when I get to all your comments and stuff, I'll go through my whole shameless plug spiel and give you all the links and information. I said Honeybee was here earlier. She popped in. It's good, always good to have Honeybee here. She has donated. I think she donated through Buy Me a Coffee account in February. I'm trying to make sure. I don't know who you're talking about. Dandy Jane has said, "Oh, what's his name?" I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. If you're still here, Dandy Linus said that's what they call the schools here. Are you talking about like the alternative schools? Yeah, they're called alternative schools here for troubled kids. I hate to say problem kids, but troubled kids, problem kids. That's what they call them here, alternative schools. Dandy Jane said, "Did they check the dad out?" Yes. The whole family. Of course, the father checked him out. That cleared him. The stepmother had unfortunately drowned the summer before. They checked the biological mother, Kristy Indiana, out. They checked the stepfather out. Now, if they found out anything about them, once again, they have not released it publicly, but I'm assuming that they all checked out and were cleared because nobody has, as of 2024, nobody has been publicly, formally named a person of interest, suspect, or any arrests have been made. Dandy Jane says, was she, I think you mean labeled officially deceased by coroner court papers? Yes, she was. Well, I don't know. I'm assuming a coroner. Um, because they did do the autopsy. I thought I included a slide. Well, they didn't release. They did not release anything about or her COD. Just that it was homicide and that it was very violent, very brutal. They did not release the COD, whether it was GSW, blunt force trauma, edged weapon, anything like that. They've never released that information. I'm assuming, like I said earlier, that the reason that they haven't released the COD is maybe that's one thing they're keeping back because that's something only the offender or offenders would know. So I'm assuming, but anybody out there, please do let me know what you guys think. That I would just assume that was the reason that they don't have not released the COD is because that was only something the offenders would know. But thank you. That is a very good question. Oh yeah, labeled. That's what I thought you meant, labeled. Dandy Linus said she thought Dandy Jane was speaking Spanish. That would be my kind of Spanish. I can't speak Spanish. A few words here and there. That's it, though. Dandy Jane says she's getting a weird vibe or energy from the dad. Yeah, like I said, it's one of those. Like I said, I've had this. Of course, I've known about this case for a long time. And, being from Arkansas, I'm aware of all these Arkansas cases. Um, there's so little information and so little background information on any of the family members um that it's just hard to get a hold of anything and say, and because there was, darn it, I forgot it, there was an interview from a doctor. Wasn't really a documentary, but kind of a little episode on or segment on one of the local news stations with the dad. And I will link what I'll do. I think I may have already. If not, I will link the video in the description box. It's probably about 5 or 10 minutes long. I'll let you guys watch it. It does interview the dad and the younger sister, Deanna. So that's another thing I was going to do with this was get that video, because I don't think my internet connection. I go through my phone on my Wi-Fi hotspot. I don't think it'll let me play the video, but I will link it if I haven't already. I'll put it in the comments. If it won't let me edit the description of the live stream, I'll put it in the comments and I'll let you guys, and you can watch it and it'll give you a little bit. But yeah, like I said, and I'm sure the dad, probably did look at the dad, because when anything like this happens, the first, we all know, all of us who follow true crime, we know the first people they look at are the family members. But evidently, either they cleared him, or they might have a suspicion and just don't have enough evidence to publicly, like I said, it's one of these frustrating ones that there's just not a whole lot of information, but I get what you're saying. Then it says, did she leave school or not show up? From what I understand, she skipped school that day. She cut class that Thursday. She was going to Deanna, the younger sister, was going to Hot Springs Middle School, which was where, and I can't remember if it said how much of an age difference there was between Kristy and Deanna. I know Kristy was older. She was 15. But so Deanna was going to Hot Springs Middle School in one direction, or Deanna was going to Hot Springs Middle School in one direction. Kristy was going to Summit Alternative School, which was in another direction. And when they parted ways to go to their separate schools that morning, that was the last time that her family saw her. Now, she was sighted at the Hot Springs Mall at some point after that. There was never, that I could find, a time, if it was during the day or the evening, when she was seen at the Hot Springs Mall. That was the last place. And I don't know if it was just witnesses at the mall, friends, or in 97, you might have a few security cameras at a mall, so I don't know if she's caught on the security footage or anything, or if just witnesses saw her there. But she did not go to school that day. She cut classes, as I say. Yeah, that's what I thought too. And Dandy Jane says 1300 Sleepy Valley Road sounds like a nightmare. Yeah, it sounds like I'm not making light of it, but it sounds like something from a horror movie. And yeah, like I said, if I can find trying to find the slide from the Google Maps. Yeah, see, that's the general area of Sleepy Valley Road. You can tell there's nothing, even when I zoomed in on my phone to see, there's nothing around there. Like I said, there was one business maybe on that road you see there, to the west. There was maybe one like little gas station business, but out there where you see the red pen, that is 1300 Sleepy Valley Road. When I zoomed in, there was nothing out there but I think a construction business, and then a couple of rock quarries. And I don't know, it didn't name which rock quarry she was found at, but yeah, it's just out there in the middle of nowhere. And that's why they say that, and it was off of the road enough where somebody who, they don't think it could have been a random stranger, because it's far enough off the road in the middle of nowhere that you would have to know the area to know how to get there. Plus, I said it was evidently a hangout for a party place for teenagers to hang out at. So it's possible, in my opinion, I think this is just my personal opinion, just a theory that I've come up with, is that at some point, either before that Thursday when she disappeared, or I'm going to assume before, since she did not go to school on that Thursday, that at some point before that Thursday that she disappeared, either through a note or talking to somebody, supposed friends or acquaintances, or somebody she maybe kind of knew but didn't really know, had said, hey, meet me at the mall at such and such a time, we'll go out and hang out. Now, whoever this person or persons, it could have been more than one person, lured her to the mall with maybe some ill intentions. It says she was the kind that wanted to be accepted, wanted friends, wanted to hang out with the boys. They lured her to this mall. Maybe said, "Hey, let's go out to the rock quarry and hang out for a little bit and do, what kids do, what teenagers do." And then something bad happened. But they said that she wasn't. They don't think that she was actually. Her life was actually taken at the quarry. So maybe something happened between, or maybe she didn't go willingly. It could have been somebody from around there that said, "Hey, here's this girl," and so she either went willingly or not willingly, obviously, from the mall, with somebody. In my opinion, I think it was somebody that she either knew or was acquainted with, maybe from school, or maybe an older. She was 15, so maybe 17, 18, 19, maybe even a 20-year-old that hung around the mall. Um, because I'm sure a lot of times that she skipped school, she probably is where she went was to the mall. Because when I was a teenager, I didn't skip school to go to the mall, but on the weekends, I was at the mall every weekend. So it's possibly somebody she could have met at the mall, and they lured her out, and something happened to her either in the vehicle but they said that she was fully clothed, so they don't think that she was SA'd. So it could be revenge for something. That's why they say it could be classmates. Um, and it could be females were involved. It could be male or female or a mixture of both. You don't know. She just, like I said, this just reminds me so much of the Brandy Hutchins case. Even back, there's been bullies since the beginning of time. It could have been a group thing that for some reason they had something against Kristy, and they could have been a group lured her or got her in a car and did something to her. Especially since I said that her death was very violent and very brutal. It could have been a group of people and they did something to her and just dumped her off at the rock quarry, because that's where the kids hung out apparently. And now this is just my theory. I don't know. Feel free in the chat or in replay to let me know what you guys think. But that would just be a possible scenario that could have happened just from the limited information that we have. Go back to my slide that I want to. It's there. I didn't realize I had that many slides. There we go. Okay. All right. Let me get back to your. Yes, Dandy says sounds like Dandy Linus says sounds like a local. Yeah, that is the general consensus from law enforcement. And excuse me. And the Jack Durrell, was that his name? Let's go back to my slides. The one that said I'm going backwards. The private investigator from Hot Springs. Yeah, Jackie Durrell says based on the information, it said he believes, or could be a she, Jackie. I do believe the suspects are still living in Arkansas. I believe that Kristy either knew the suspect. Slides, or for some reason they're not advancing on my. Anyway, Jackie Durrell believes that it was somebody that was local. I'm doing it manually there. That was local, and it possibly knew Kristy. I still think, in my opinion, it was either classmates or somebody a little bit older, 16, 17, 18, maybe 19 or 20 even, that either she went to school with or she could have met at the mall, hanging out at the mall. Dandy Jane, well, if I can get it to come up. Sorry, my computer's being slow. go out and sorry, I can't get my things, or but Dandy Jane is saying that she doesn't trust the dad. He has see if he can come up. Might have to go out and come back in. You'll probably see my slides, or there we go. Dandy Jane says he just has all these articulate descriptions about how she was killed and why and where. Well, the how and the why, or well, they don't know the why. The how and the where of the way she was killed comes from the police, um, from what they told him, because they, like I said, they have released very little information about her exact COD, just that it was violent and brutal. But I'm sure they look, and they might have looked at him, and like I said, they might have some suspicion, but they just haven't released it publicly, or they just don't have enough evidence to, question him, or officially name him or anybody else as um, a person of interest. Again, I might have to. Let me go back out and go back into my second self. See if my Danny Linus says, I wish law enforcement would release a little bit more info on older culture. I do too. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's been 20, almost 28 years. I don't know if I would release, I mean, get down, right down to where I was in comments. Um, Messed up my comments here when I might have to go out and just do it from my phone. Maybe, okay, maybe that's working. Danny Jane says, did Dad have an insurance policy on her? I have no idea. They haven't really released that information. It's possible. Like I said, if he did, they haven't released it publicly. Sorry, I'm just getting caught up in comments, reading through comments. Danny Jane's got some food for thought, yeah, about the dad. But like I said, I don't want to really go a lot into that, because he's, like I said, he's nobody, has never been formally named by law enforcement. Like I said, it could very well be that they've interviewed a few people and may have information or have suspicions, but they just um, don't have enough evidence or probable cause to arrest anybody. Hopefully, one day they'll get there. Davy Jane also asked if I don't know about the insurance policies on the stepmother. Um, hey, Mind of Monsters, good to have you here. Always good to have you here. Good to see you. I was watching some of anybody a Dandy. You might have already done Dandy Linus. You might have already done it. You can stick in Mind of Monsters link. I was watching some of your stuff today while I had a little bit of a time. Good stuff. I'm gonna get back in there when I get done with this and try to. I've got to get caught up so much. I'm so behind in everything. So glad to have you here, Mom. Yep, everybody's welcome, Mom. Mind of Monsters Mom for short. Michelle C is here. Hello, Michelle C. Good to have you here, my dear. Everybody's popping in on me when I did you guys like that better with these? I know I do it different when it's just and tomorrow night I am going to do a true crime after dark late night. It won't be too late. I'll probably start at around 8:30 or 9 Central US time. Because I've been once again in Discord pilching some of you guys articles in Discords that I'm in with some of you guys, some stories that I haven't seen that I've been stealing some of those, borrowing some of those to talk about tomorrow night, along with any other updates on any of the cases that we've been following, the ones that are in the news. So hello, Michelle C. Good to have you here, my dear. I can't put that on the screen, but Dandy Jane says she possibly could have been running away because there may have been SA. That anything is possible. Like I said, there's just so little information in this case. That's why I waited for so long to do this case, even though it's very important. Well, I'll pop it up there for a minute if it'll come up. I can't say it out loud, but possible. It's possible. Dandy Linus agrees. I'm assuming on that or something else. It's possible. Like I said, anything's possible. There's so little information. And see, once again, not because I don't on this channel. We don't condone victim blaming, family blaming, disrespect of any kind, and even to each other here in chat, which we don't have any. We've never had any trouble with anybody disrespecting anybody else in chat. But when it said, see if I can get to it without my slides going crazy, that she called her mother. I probably skipped it. She called her mother and wanted that. I'm assuming that either that Thursday night, Friday night. That's what's so confusing. It doesn't say which. I'm just going back and forth in my slides. And her mother, her biological mother said no, that she couldn't come spend the night with her. I don't understand that. If it was my kid, like I said, she could have very, very good reasons for not wanting Kristy to stay with her. It could have to do with the behavior or whatever. But I'm trying to find where they were talking about it. But anyway, apparently she had called her biological mother and wanted to spend the night, and her mom said no. I don't know. I just couldn't do that no matter what happened. I couldn't do that to my kid. Like I said, we don't know the whole story. The biological mother could have had a perfectly good reason for not wanting her to stay. Yeah, I like that. We have Dandy squared in here. Dandy Jane and Dandy Linus. I like that. Hey, Gilhard. Oh, come on. Come up. Once again, it's hopefully it'll eventually pop up. So, there we go. Welcome, Gilhard. Said almost missed this. Well, I'm glad you didn't miss it. Good to have you here, Miss Gail. Miss Gail is an angel. She is always in Chris the Mob Cruise chats and Mr. Steve True Crime West chats, just handing out memberships and donating. So show Miss Gail some love in the chat, if you will. And we're getting closer to, of course, like I said, we have surpassed by a whole lot. I think we're up to 526 or 527 subs now. And we're over the 2,500 of the 3,000 watch hours that we need for me to be able to accept to do memberships, members only things, and to do super chat, super stickers, and things like that. So if we can get those watch hours, and then I have to apply. They'll let me know when I'm eligible to apply, and then I'll put my application in. And they said it could take a month, but we're getting there. We're getting there. For limited monetization, which that's fine. I'll take anything I can get. But in the meantime, here when I get caught up in comments, I'll go over the ways you can donate now. Dandy Jane said it doesn't. They've never. Dandy Jane says, "What does the coroner report say about her exact death?" They've not released that publicly. All they say is that it was brutal and violent. They have not released her official COD. That's one of the things that's frustrating. But like I said, once again, it could be um, that the ways that she was killed is only something that the offender or offenders would know, and they're going to keep that to themselves in case. So like I said in one of the slides, they don't want to give anything out that would hurt the integrity or the credibility in case they ever do arrest somebody and take somebody to trial. So it just said it was brutal and violent. That was all it said. Exactly. You're exactly right. If I can get it to come up. Dandy Jane says they still may be checking him out. No one is clear fully until they find the offender. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Like I said, since they haven't released any information, who knows who they're looking at? They could be looking at anybody and everybody. But you're absolutely right. Nobody is fully cleared until they do absolutely, with enough probable cause, enough proof to say, hey, this is the guy or the gal or both, if it's more than one offender. You're absolutely right. Yeah, then, sorry, my computer's slow. Let me go out. There it is. Dandelion says, I'm curious if she was SA'd. I believe, once again, I think I can get my slides to work. And you may see I think it said that that they do not think that she was SA because she was fully clothed. Now that does not always mean that there was no SA. And with them not releasing the autopsy report or COD, we don't know that information. Okay, here it is. It says the belief is that this was not where her assault had taken place, meaning they left her at the quarry. It was where she had been placed. Oh, that's not the one I'm looking for. Somewhere in here or somewhere it mentioned that they do not think that she was SA'd because she was fully clothed. But that's a good question. I would be curious to know that too, Dandy. Like I said, with just this, I know it's aggravating and lack of information. I know my slides are going crazy because I should be doing them. Oh, there we go. But yeah, that will be helpful information to know. I said, Danny Jane, we don't know. I'm assuming I know I read somewhere, and it may be in one of these. And I know y'all probably getting the vertigo from my slides flipping across. I want to say I read somewhere. I don't know if it was in the slides, and I just missed it. Or read an article I read through that they don't think she was or assume that she wasn't. Now, this may be coming from people, non-law enforcement, that they just assumed that she was not SA because she was apparently found fully clothed. Yeah, Michelle C says, if it'll come up. Sorry, my computer is anyway, maybe it'll come up. Michelle C says, I missed the beginning of the live stream, but we'll rewatch from the start later. Thank you. Kristy has such a sweet little smile. I hope she gets justice soon. Absolutely. Yeah, that's why I did this case. It's been almost 28 years now. And everybody's opinion, or law enforcement's and general public, yeah. Dandelion says, I might have to go out, and I can't get these to come up. Go out and sorry, leaning into the camera, but I'm gonna have to do this with my because I'm my second self, my second computer. I think I'm down to the comments of where I was, and I'm sorry for leaning into the camera, but yes, Dandelion says somebody old enough to drive. Absolutely, because even for 15, Brandy was a larger girl. Um, that's why they thought, and that she had always been assumed that she was older than she was. I mean, even just looking at that picture, you would think she was older. I would think she was older than 15. Um, so yeah, it had to be somebody that was old enough to drive, because they would not, in my opinion, I mean, it's the mall. I don't know exactly how far, but from where the mall was to where she was found dumped is too far to walk or do anything. Plus, since they think that they're sure, or mostly sure, that her life wasn't taken at the quarry. That's just where she was dumped. That somewhere between the mall and where she was dumped at the quarry was where she was killed out, and whether it was in a vehicle or another building, and she was put into the vehicle and taken to the quarry. We just don't, unfortunately, we don't know those details. Dandy Jane has some good theories. I can't put everything up there, but you have some good theories, Dandy Jane. Dandy Jane asked, what is the Brandy Hutchins case? That was my case of the week for last week. You can check my playlist in the it's in the unsolved cold case section, a playlist. Brandy Dawn Hutchins. Once again, another case from Arkansas from I believe it's from 1980s. Another very sad case, reminds me a lot of this one, just in the personalities and the way that they disappeared. These cases remind me a lot of each other. So check it out. Like I said, you can find it. It's Brandy Hutchins. It's in my playlist. Definitely check it out. Yep, Gail Hurd makes a good point. Or with someone that could drive, could have been more than one person. Yeah, and I've noticed, and you guys probably caught it too, in everything that I was reading from these articles, and all the source articles I used are linked in the description box, so you guys can go, because I just took excerpts from some from the AY magazine article and a couple of other articles that gave details, the little bit of information, but they're all linked in the description box, and you can go read the whole articles. But every time they were talking about, they would say they would make sure to say offender or offenders or individual or individuals. So evidently, law enforcement thinks it could have been more than one person too. I said I have my theory that I gave earlier about what could possibly have happened. I think I don't want to say that I know, because obviously I don't know, but I think, in my opinion, it was most likely more than one person, and it was maybe possibly either classmates from school or a person or a group of people she had met hanging out at the mall that, for some reason, since I say she was most likely not SA'd, maybe had it in for her, were bullies, had a grudge against her for some reason and lured her. Or maybe not, they might not have lured her to the mall because it said that she had cut classes, skipped school and gone to the mall on numerous times, but maybe met up with them at the mall and they said, hey, let's go hang out, and they did something bad to her and she ended up deceased, and they just dumped her body at the quarry. But that's just my opinion. One of my possible theories, but we don't know for sure. Exactly. That's what I'm getting at, Dandy. Dandelion says she was kicked out of school for skipping. Makes me wonder if she was being bullied. Exactly. That's why the first thing that popped into my head when authorities kept saying it could be more than one individual, is that it was a possible bullying situation. Um, I tend, I agree with you on that. And Dandy Jane says she's back. She had to get a Diet Coke. Yeah, I need to get a. I'm almost out of my tea. Welcome back, Dandy Jane. I'm trying to get through y'all's comments. Yeah, Dandy Jane says if they do suspect the dad, I'm sure they do. They wouldn't say boo about it, would not release anything. They cannot if they're investigating. They need to investigate harder. Yep, I agree. And hopefully from what, because the articles did say that the FBI, once again, going back to I can find the right, says, as Gordon, the father, explained, this case was a go for the FBI for several reasons. It involves the child, extreme violence, in a case that can be solved. And according to the FBI Little Rock office, it says we're still working on it jointly, but the FBI is pushing out the reward and bringing some seriously experienced investigators in to work this case. So hopefully that means that they're on to something, and hopefully it can be solved soon. Dandy Jane says she's done. She's giving her theories. That was some good theories. We like theories here. We just got to be mindful of. We respect everybody's theories and opinions, but we just have to be careful about naming names and things of that nature. Unless they have been publicly named by. I know I'm driving me all crazy with my slides are just going crazy tonight. Anyway, we appreciate theories here, but we just got to be careful what we say about who we name, unless it's somebody that's been named publicly already. Yeah, Dandy Jane says she's going to check out. Yes, check out Mind of Monsters. Check out True Crime Web. Check out Chris at the Mob Crew. You can go to the homepage of my channel. Scroll down to where it says visit our friends below. It has all the links to all the channels that I endorse, or I wouldn't send you to what I call a bad channel. All good peoples. Thank you, Mind of Monsters. Mom says you're welcome to get any case you would like from my Discord. I'm going to add another one tonight that Nani brought to my attention. Yeah, like I said, I've been raiding Dandy's Discord, Shauna's Discord. I'll go look at your Discord because y'all been. I try to get in there every couple of days. And check to see what you guys have added, any new cases or older cases. Sometimes I like when you guys put in some older cases that could be 2 or 3 years old or older that I haven't heard about. I snagged a couple of those for tomorrow night that I hadn't heard about because I was gonna. Now, if there's any major updates on any of the cases that we've been following, like the Sebastian Rogers case, Elijah Vu, Lake and Riley, all the ones that we've been following, I've got some new old stories, if that makes any sense, new older cases that I've found. Like I said, I've been lurking in everybody's Discord and I snagged some stories from y'all. So we'll give us a little break from all the ones in the news. Like I said, if there's any major developments, of course, we'll talk about them because my anybody who's here or has never been to a late night live at True Crime After Dark, it's more looser. We just talk about anything current in the news or anything that that I or we have come across that we find interesting. Any solved cold cases. I love to talk about cold cases, 40, 50-year-old cold cases that have been solved. Although I'm a love all the forensic DNA, genetic genealogy stuff, and plus old cases that are solved. So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow night, probably around 8:30 or 9-ish Central U.S. time. So please, if you can be here, please be here to join in. We're a little bit looser format. We're serious when we need to be because, of course, we are serious about these cases that we talk about, whether they be new cases or old cases. They're all important and we care about them, but we do tend to go off the rails, as I call it. As Ozzy would say, we go off the rails on the crazy train sometimes on the late nights, but they're fun and informative. That's the way I like to put it, fun and informative. So if it sounds like something that anybody here that's hasn't been here before, join us tomorrow night. I'll get it scheduled and put up with the exact time sometime probably in the morning when I figure out when I'm going to. Like I said, they'll probably be around 8:30, 9-ish Central U.S. time. Yes, Gail, Danny Linus said Gail is a wonderful person, 100. Absolutely. My mom says she's dropping info into Discord. I'm going to have to go check it out when I get off here. I'm slowly getting caught up. Oh, that's the wrong one. I don't even know what that one said. Oh. Dandy Jane says that's possible. Like I said, my guess would be that an edged weapon or blunt force trauma because just the way they said it was brutal and violent. Because you would think with of course, a GSW is brutal and violent, but just the way that they kept emphasizing the brutality and the violence, I would say either what you said, what Dandy Jane said, or blunt force trauma, or it could be in both. Like I said, that's information they haven't released and they've kept to themselves. Could be possible. And see, I thought because Dandelion says my mind took me to a brick for some reason, and brutal no matter how she passed. See, and I thought about a rock because they found her at a rock quarry, but then they said that they don't think that her life was taken at the quarry. That's just where she was dumped. But it could have been a rock or a brick or who knows what from somewhere else, from wherever it did happen. Mm. All sorts of possibilities and avenues to go down. I'm sorry for leaning so close to the camera, but I'm having to read. My laptop was being too slow for me, so I went to controlling things through my phone, so I had to lean in closer because I'm half blind and I can't see so well on the little writing on my phone. Daddy Jane says she'd also like to hear more about the stepmom's passing. Yeah, all it said was that she drowned the summer or the fall before. Like I said, I might have to do a little bit more digging, and because it did not give, I don't think it gave the stepmother's name. All it said was that she had drowned the summer before or whatever it was. Sorry, my laptop's doing weird things, but yeah, I may have to dig around and see if I can find any other information. There's scant information in this case. No, Gail, the stepmom wasn't, or that we know of. We don't know. It just said that the stepmom drowned. Oh yeah, I say I'm behind. Andy had already was on it, answered your question. Okay, so I did. Yeah, Dandy Jones says no. I did say in a slide that she was not SA'd. Yeah, because she was sound fully clothed. But once again, being fully clothed wouldn't necessarily mean that they weren't SA'd. But I don't think that it was an SA thing. I think, in my opinion, it was like Dandy Linus had mentioned earlier, a possible bullying situation that got out of control and ended, unfortunately, with her death. Yeah, Gail said her spell check or autocorrect. I hate autocorrect when I'm trying to type. Yep, two from the same family. Yeah, like I said, the mother, what they said was a drowning, and then Kristy was unfortunately a homicide. Yep, Gail says dump like trash. I know, which is horrible. Just makes my stomach turn. Absolutely. R.I.P. Kristy. Absolutely. Gail heard. Gail says teens gang together at that age. Peers are very important. Yeah, I said that's why this case reminds me so much of the case last week, the Brandy Hutchins case. I think that was also a case that, well, no, not of peers, but of a male that is possibly, and I've got to do a follow up, which I may do. Maybe it's not because Mr. Steve is out on the road doing far more important work than being having me as a guest on his show again. I think maybe, possibly, don't hold me to it, possibly next week or sometime within the next couple of weeks. I may be on Mr. Steve's show again to talk about a case, and it's probably going to be the Brandy Hutchins case because it is possibly connected to another unsolved case from Kentucky. So I want to get that out there. But like I said, it's whenever Mr. Steve has time. Maybe my second, maybe my second self is working again. Whenever Mr. Steve has time, I'm going to be back on his show to talk about a case. And that could be Danny Jane. It did not say how she got to the mall or how far the Hot Springs Mall, the mall she went to, was from her house or the school. Whether it was the dad or somebody else, or if it was within walking distance. That's another. Like I said, just so frustrating that there's so little information in this case about how she got where, what time was she at the what time was she last seen at the mall? Because um, between when her sister last saw her, supposedly going to school, when they went their separate ways to go to their separate schools, that was the last time her family saw her alive. And then whatever time it was, and whoever it was that saw her alive at the mall, it does not give a time frame of when that was. And then the next thing after that was that they found her deceased on that. It was a Thursday when she was last seen alive, and it was that Saturday that her body was found. But that's all we know. Yeah, I think Dandy's just relaying some of the. Yeah, she got kicked. She had been kicked out of one school for skipping school. She had been going to Hot Springs Middle School. She got kicked out of there. She had gone to this summit, or to a resource helps therapy center. I can't think of the right words right now. And when she came back, they put her in this Summit Alternative School, we call them down here, for troubled youth with problems. And she apparently, they said when she came back at Summit, they hoped that she would do better at Summit, but apparently she didn't. She was still skipping school at Summit. Yes, Gail Hurd, she does have a very sweet face. Very sweet face. Yes, Dandy, you are, Atlantis, you are following properly. You're probably following better than I am. Yeah, Danny put up Mind of Monsters link. Please go check out Mind of Monsters. And True Crime Web, Mr. Steve and Mrs. Steve. Yes. Mind of Monsters. I was going to get to that, but I will get to. I do have a Facebook group and a face group page. Let me go to my banners right quick. You can find the group. Both of the group and the page are obviously called Southern Gal True Crime. There are links to it in the About section of my page. I don't know if I linked the group here in the live stream, but just go to the About section, and it has. I don't know if I have the link for the. I think I put both of them in. I know for sure the link to the Southern Guy True Crime Facebook group is in there. So yeah, definitely. Let me go back and read your comment again. Take that down. Now I'm behind again. Okay. So Mind of Monster says, "Are you on Facebook? If so, I have a cold case group, and he needs people to cover the cases. He has a ton of cases." Absolutely. You can email me. Once again. There's my email, wildirishrose71@gmail.com, or you can email me. You want to the name of the Facebook group, the link to it. I'll check it out, and y'all can check mine out, and we'll collaborate and get some cases worked on and covered. I would love to. That would be awesome. Just let me know. Just email me or whatever. Go to the group and post something, or email me. Either way, that's what I'm here for you guys. I still have, this was, I think, the last Arkansas case that I had planned. So now I'm going to start working on. I've been getting some good suggestions. Christina Strife, if you don't know who Christina is. Carolyn, check out Carolyn from Unearthed Secrets. She works with Mr. Steve. They have a team that go out and help families free of charge. Sorry, shut my door. Free of charge work, help families, help find their loved ones, and bring some closure in some cold cases. But Christina gave me a couple to look into, and I think somebody else had given me. So if you do, once again, go through my spiel while I'm up here. Found the right one. If you have anybody that's watching or anybody here has a case that's dear to your heart, maybe you knew the victim, it happened in your home state, your hometown, or it's a case that you've heard of that think you thinks I can't talk. You think my cat's throwing my brush needs more attention or awareness, email it to me. The victim's name, the state it happened in, any details you have, I will research it. I'll get on the Google machine and research it, and I'll do a case of the week on it, feature it as a missing person Monday, or I'll get it featured somehow, and we'll get some more awareness to it. Being as I'm here, I do have a second channel, and for any of you guys who were at my last live stream, which was Tuesday, I believe, or Wednesday, I'm thinking about maybe not, because tomorrow night we're doing the true crime after dark. Maybe next Saturday, going over to my second channel, Southern Gal Ramblings, where we talk about anything not true crime related, anything movies, music, paranormal, UFO, anything we want to talk about. Have a little bit of fun over there. We can be a little bit more looser and not as serious as we need to be here talking about true crime. So go over to Southern Gal Ramblings. There's also a link to it in the About section. Subscribe, and maybe next Saturday or at some point we'll get together over there and have a live stream where we can talk about anything and be as goofy and silly and loopy as we want to be. So check out that. We already went over the Facebook thing and the email. Ways to, if you would like to help support the channel and the search for the missing, I have a Buy Me a Coffee, a PayPal Me, a Venmo, Southern Gal merch. All those links are in the description box for the live stream and the About section of my page. I'm sure Danny's been putting in some of those links during the let me get caught up. Y'all, I got some good questions here. I got to get back down to okay, so that's where I think I'm back to where I was at. And so we talked, Danny mentioned a brick. We talked about that. Yes, I would too. Dandy Jane says I'd also like to hear more about the stepmother's passing. Yeah, I would too. Said, yeah, accidental drowning, but see, I'm telling you, y'all pay more attention to what I'm saying than I am. Yes, absolutely. Danny Linus says kidnappings from malls used to be a thing. Yeah, they did. Yeah, Danny and Jane, at one point, she had been seen at the mall at some point during that Thursday. Like I said, another frustrating thing, it did not say when she was seen at the mall, but in my opinion, I think that's where she was either taken from or possibly met up with somebody and left with somebody from that mall, from the Hot Springs Mall. and then something happened at some point, and her life was taken, and then they took her and dumped her at the rock quarry. That's just my opinion, though. But yeah, I think she met somebody there pre-planned, or just happened to meet somebody that she knew, or some friends that were, as Dandelion has mentioned, that were not so friendly. Maybe some bullying going on, and things got out of hand, and she ended up deceased. I don't. Come on. Once again, there it goes. Um, Daddy Jane says, which means she had idle time on her hands. All the more reason I think her dad dropped her off at the mall. I don't know about that. It said that her dad was at work and he didn't know that she was gone until he got home from work that Thursday, and she didn't come home that night. And then they were looking for her, and then that Saturday is when he was watching the horrible way to find out, watching the TV, and said that they had found what they thought was a woman deceased, and it turned out to be Kristy. And he even though they said woman on TV, he thought about Kristy because she had been mistaken to look older, and she was a larger girl. She had been mistaken for being older than she was before, so he called the police, and unfortunately they brought pictures out, and it was Kristy. Yep, Dandy Linus is on it. You got it down, Dandy. She got kicked out of school for skipping, and last time she skipped school at the alternative school, she went to the mall and never returned home. Yep, that's it. And I think I'm probably reading ones that I've already read, but yep, Dandy's putting in all the links. Mob Crew, True Crime Web. Dandy says, I was a teen in the 90s. I wasn't allowed to go to the mall without an adult. See, I was a teen in the mid to late 80s. I graduated in 1989. Now we were allowed to go when we were driving age, so 16 and up. We were allowed to go to the mall without an adult. But like I said, we were at least 16 because we had driver's license. But I can understand. And like I said, I live in Arkansas. And we would go to North Little Rock, to the mall, and it was a smaller mall, and then back in the 80s, it was a different time, or we perceive it as a different time. I mean, kidnappings obviously still happen, but we just didn't hear about it because back in the 80s and even the early 90s, we didn't have the 24/7 news cycle and all the social media platforms. So you weren't bombarded 24/7 like we are now with all the news. Oh, thank you, Gail. Gail says, it'll come up. Might have to go back to my phone. Um, Sorry, I'm catching up on my. Oh, I want to show that. It was showing. Gail says you all are wonderful. You're wonderful, Gail. Gail's an angel. Like I'm telling you, I always see Gail in other chats, giving for channels that are eligible for memberships. She's always you can gift memberships. She's gifting memberships left and right and donating to these other channels. She's an angel. Hello, Marissa. Melissa says she just caught up. Sorry I was late. That's fine, my dear. You can always go back and if you're not already caught up, rewatch it. Watch the replay. Good to have you here. Marissa, always good to have Marissa here. Marissa's one of our girls. Me and her and Dandy and let's see who else shows up. Jocelyn, our late night crew. So that's why I'm wanting to go over to my second channel at some point and have anybody who wants to join in who we're familiar with here. Of course, both the Dandies, Gail, Marissa, Jocelyn, Junior, and Dave can even come. Well, I guess we'll let the guys come if they want to. Anybody who we know on here, if they want to come over to the other channel, and we'll do a late night live at some point and talk about anything. But well, we can talk about true crime too, but anything besides true crime, and we can be as goofy and as loopy as we want to be, not as serious as we need to be, on here talking about these awful cases. I'm trying to get caught up, guys. Or 2 hours in. I wouldn't intend to be this long, but I want to get all your comments and everything's in. Yep. That's the consensus too, perhaps. Marissa says, I think perhaps the liking of a boy and his girlfriend, and perhaps her friends became not too friendly. Yeah, that possibility, strong possibility. Like I'm saying, in my opinion, one of my theories or food for thought is that it's something to do with classmates. Something happened, bullying, or it could be some kind of a jealousy with another female, and maybe the other female got some of her male friends, and things happen. But yeah, I agree. Marissa, that's another good question. Is there any indication if they have DNA? They have not released that information. Once again, I wish they would release that information. What are you doing, dude? Sorry, you might can see my cat is up here behind me. I don't know if you can see him. He's disappearing in the green screen. My cat is up there behind me, sitting on the back of the chair. I hope they have DNA, but if they do, no, you're not getting on my lap. You can say hi, but you're not getting on my lap. Sorry. Get down. I'll be done in just a minute. I'm almost caught up. But yeah, if they have DNA, they haven't released that information, Marissa. That's an excellent question. Well, Dandy, you're not that much. Dandy said she was born in 78. I was born in 71. So I'm just about 7 years older than you. I don't mind giving away my age. Oh, Gail says Dandy Linus is just a young'un compared to her, to Gail. Yeah, get down. Marissa said, we're talking to Gail, but said, I know how many times my sisters were assaulted over crushes. Yeah, I'm telling you, even back in the 80s, and it's, from what I understand, worse today. Females are brutal to each other. Teenage girls are brutal to each other, not just with cyberbullying, verbal bullying, but with physical. It's just terrifying. So mom said, I sent you channel crime to you sent my channel to your, so you sent my channel to your friend that runs cold case groups and pages. Is that what you're saying? I can't read. My eyes are, Gail says she's a 53 classic. You're a classic, my dear. You're wonderful. You're an angel. You are a giving angel. Yes. Thank you. Michelle C says, if you haven't, oh my goodness. Oh, I'm going to do it in tomorrow's. I thought I forgot it tonight, but Michelle says, if you haven't yet, please go watch the episode about Diamond Bynum and King Walker. I don't have news, but I don't know if I want to give it away. I got to looking. I get notifications anytime anybody comments on any of my videos or live streams. I've had comments that, I know you have to be careful because some could be fake. Pretty sure these are real. Comments from family members on 2 or 3 cases that I've done, and I did screenshots of them. So tune in tomorrow night on the True Crime After Dark. Diamond and King is one that a family member reached out to me. So, and I think I had 2 other cases where family members reached out, or didn't reach out to me, but made comments. So, and I'm pretty sure they're legit because you can just tell I went and checked the user profile, and you can just tell how they're worded, that they're legit. So I'll be bringing those showing those to you guys tomorrow. So be sure to tune in tomorrow night. But yes, Michelle, thank you for that's another case, Diamond and King, such a sad case. And shame on me, I can't remember where it's from now. It's not from Arkansas, but horrible case that needs more attention and needs to be solved. Yep, Gail says, I got a great chatting community experience. Yes, Miss Gail. As you can probably tell, there are some different faces, but a lot of the community, Miss Gail, that is in Chris's community and Mr. Steve's community are here. And then also some other from Miss Frankie Rose's community, the Think Tank. Another great channel to check out. There's some from her community. I think we all share some mutual community members. So yes, my community is just hopefully it'll stay that way. Just good people like Mr. C's communities and Chris's communities. So yes, thank you for being here, Gail. I see Gail in True Crime Web and Mob Crew all the time in chats and chat with her. Wonderful lady. So Michelle's putting a link. Is that the link to the Diamond and King case? And Danny Linus says her sister was the last family member to see her. You talking about Kristy? Yeah. Deanna was the last one to see her because their father had already gone to work. He called the house. Apparently, he had to have to call in the house to make sure the girls were getting ready to go to school. And Kristy and Deanna walked, like I said, until they had to go their separate ways to go to their different schools. So yeah, Deanna was the last family member to see her alive. You're correct, as usual. Yes, there's Unearthed Secrets. That is Carolyn's channel. She is a geophysicist. She goes out with Mr. Steve and Chris at the Mob Crew and everybody else they have to work on these cold cases. Yep, that's a good point. Gail says there's no telling what happened to that young woman. Someone promised that girl something. Yeah, I think there was something. I didn't mean to close it out. Somebody promised her something or told her something to get her to leave that mall. In my opinion, just my opinion, to get her to leave that mall with whoever it was or a group of people, and they had a nefarious intentions, things that they were going to do, and unfortunately that, in my opinion, that's what happened. That's the theory I'm going with. Wow. Marissa, let me see if I'm reading this right. Marissa says, I was a teen in the 90s and had to babysit your mother, older sister, and 2 younger sisters, even after having my own babies at 17 and 19. Yeah, it's hard to my youngest brother was born when I was almost 10 years old, so I helped raise him, and then I helped growing up, raising my oldest nieces and nephews. help raise them because my brother divorced. I mean, former sister-in-law got divorced when they were young, and he had custody of them, so we helped him raise them. So I understand that. I understand where you're Oh, Danny, his name is Tigger. Danny Linus was asking what my kitty's name was. He's Tigger. He's a rescue. Actually, he's a double rescue. The lady that we got him from, who I graduated with, a girl I graduated with, her mother um, was Tigger's owner. They had got him from a shelter. Unfortunately, the lady that had him had to go to a nursing home. Of course, couldn't take him with her. None of the family could take him. They were allergic or already had too many cats. So my youngest sister-in-law, who was their neighbors at the time, said, "Hey, I've got this cat. Do you want him? If not, he's going to have to go back to the shelter." So of course, we have one cat already, a female. And of course, we weren't going to let him go back to we're not going to let any cat go to a shelter because we live out on the farm. So we have cats and critters and dogs everywhere out there that we feed and take care of. But no, we weren't going to let him go to a shelter, so we call him our double rescue. And he's the king of the house. He rules the roost. As you can tell, I think he went back out now, but he just comes in. He's mad because I'm in his chair, and it's his bedtime now. It's 10 o'clock. He likes to sleep. Well, actually, he likes to sleep during the day and then try to keep us awake at night. But that is Tigger Man. It's our fur baby. Oh goodness, Gail said that when she was in 10th grade, some gal got tarred and feathered. It was usually guys fighting each other about girls. Yeah. Now, when I was, like I said, I was in the high school in the 80s, late 80s. I graduated in 89. Of course, maybe from the South, the Southern girls. I only got into one fight with another girl, actual physical fight with one girl one time when I was in high school, or no, I think it was actually grade school or what you call middle school, because I live in a very small town, so we didn't have a elementary, middle, and high school. We just had elementary school, which was 1 through 6th grade, and high school, which was 7th through 12th. And I was probably in 5th or 6th grade, and I got to somebody had a bully, and then we got to a little tussle. But I saw a lot of just as many females fighting at school than males. Michelle said, "Are you talking about King and Diamond's case?" Michelle said, "That's absolutely amazing. It's from Gary, Indiana." Yes. Yes. I will. I will. I hope you can tune in tomorrow night, Michelle C. Um, I want so bad to say, but I want to save it too. But it is. I heard from a family member of and King and Diamond. But yes, it was amazing, and yes, I know that you have to be careful because people will call me in and say that they're not who they are. But I have a good feel, I can suss out just from the way it's worded, and I check the user profile and I compare the picture of the user profile to pictures of known pictures of this family member who says she was, and it looks like the same person, so I'm pretty sure it's legit. So we'll bring in that tomorrow night. Yes, there's the think tank. You guys, please check out Dandy Linus is doing an excellent job throwing in all these links. You can check them, click on them from here, click on them from the homepage of my channel, scroll to the bottom to the visitor friends section. Oh yeah, also how can I forget about our friend Dave? Yeah, Al on the Prowl, our friend Dave. He usually does his. He may be doing one tonight. either tonight or tomorrow night, Dave, unless he's busy, because I know that's Dave. He mentioned a couple weeks ago that I think he works nights or evenings, but they had changed his whatever he does, changed his schedule. But when Dave has lives, they're very late at night, early in the morning, on Friday into Saturday morning, or Saturday night into Sunday morning. Yes. Dandy says, Tigger is your master. Don't get it twisted. Oh yeah, he's the master. And I even bought him I wish I could reach it. I don't know what he did with it. We bought him a toy because he likes to grab a hold of our arms and kick the back legs. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Kick with his back legs, and that's where these come from. So we bought him what they call a little kick toy. It's just a long little thing. It's got a tail, what looks like a tail on it, and it's got it's not a bell, but kind of like a little thing that makes noise. We named it Eddie. Don't ask me why. And it reminds me of an 80s because it's like zebra print. But anyway, he loves playing with Eddie. I wish Eddie is somewhere on the bed, unless he's taken off with it. So now he's got his own, instead of beating up my arm and my mom's arms, that he can beat up Eddie. And we named it Eddie because I made the mention of the fact that it reminded me with the zebra print and reminded me of the 80s, like hairbands and stuff. So was it Iron Maiden? If anybody knows who any here knows what Iron Maiden is, were they the one that had Eddie? That mascot thing that they had was named Eddie. Plus, there's Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam, and Eddie was Meatloaf's character's name in Rocky Horror Picture Show. So we just came up with Eddie, and he's already learned what Eddie means. We've only had the toy maybe a week. I'll say, go find Eddie. Where's Eddie? And he'll start looking around, Anyway, that's the story of my cat's toy. The only toy we've ever bought him that he will play with. We bought him so many toys, and the only thing he will ever play with is a plastic bag or a box. Or any kind of bag. But he likes Eddie. He likes his new toy, Eddie. He can kick it and chew on it and clean it and cuddle it and be mean to it. He's happy with it. All right, guys, we are a little bit past the 2-hour mark. I think I'm caught up in comments. I think I've done all done. Just once again, thank you to everybody who's in chat. I'll try to go back through and mention everybody who is here. Thank you to everybody who's watching replay. If you haven't already, please hit that like button before you leave. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, like, share, comment. All that helps small channels like mine get this very important information out about cases like Kristy. Get that out to as many people as possible to help bring some closure, help keep her name out there so that she is hashtag never forget, never forgotten. You can see up in the top right, my hashtag never forget. So thank you very much for that. Like I said, find me on Facebook, my second channel, Southern Gal Ramblings. At some point, I'm going to get a live stream scheduled over there so we can go have some fun over there. Contact me either by email or dropping a comment in any of my live stream uploads or video uploads. Once again, there are the ways you can donate. You can find all those in the About section. I'm going to take that down because I just want to leave y'all with Kristy. All right, let's see. Thank you once again, like I said, everybody who's here. Dandy Linus, Dandy Jane, Marissa, Miss Gail, Marissa, Michelle C. I don't want to forget anybody, but I want to scroll all the way back up to the top. Gail, I'm repeating myself. Marissa, Mom, Mind of Monsters. Please check that Mind of Monsters out. Michigan Wifey was here earlier. I do remember. Like I said, I'm probably going to start repeating myself with names. Everybody who was here in chat, thank you so much. I know I'm sorry if I forget your name, but there's so many comments. It'd take me all night, another hour, dude. But thank you, everybody that was here in chat. Get ready for tomorrow night. Hopefully y'all can come back for the True Crime After Dark, 8:30, 9-ish Central Time. I got some stories to bring to you, and if there's any, like I said, if there's any breaking news in any of the stories we've been following, I will bring you that. So until then, please be careful. Take care of yourselves. Be careful out there. Take care of each other. Most important thing we can do is take care of each other. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye bye.